Hey everyone, Dr. Jared Pello, and I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So, if you know much about me, you know that I love health, I love medicine, and I love artificial intelligence. My first company was an artificial intelligence company, and it became part of Microsoft. During that process, I got to be part of this AI revolution. The data that we captured recording doctors and patients was used to build models that would write notes for doctors, which was the goal all along. Well, as these newer AI models, these large language models came out, I was lucky enough to be at the forefront, playing with GPT-3 and 3.5 and continuing to play. And I call it play just because it is so amazing to see what these models can do and imagine how they can make our lives better. Now, of course, you can think of the bad ways they can impact us as well. But today I want to try something with health. So if you haven't yet seen, there is a new model from OpenAI called Deep Research. Now, Deep Research is a really interesting model. It comes from their O3 model, and they did some more kind of fine tuning or reinforcement learning on it to help it know how to navigate the internet, go out and find good, trustworthy sources, and then report back for you and create a report based on anything you ask of it. And there's been stories of people using it for health related purposes. So I thought I would run it through a short little test. And this test is around health, but not like taking anybody's personal health records and putting it in there. I just thought, how about I give it 4 or 5 longevity health topics to write up a YouTube script for me. And then I'll walk through the YouTube script. I'll share my screen. We'll walk through it together and we'll really see like how good this is at going and finding sources that I think are trustworthy or that I think are good. And of course, I'm just going to have to do this fast because you're not going to want to sit here while I read paper after paper. And so I might get some things wrong, but I'm okay with that as long as you are. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So sharing my screen, let me show you the question I asked. So I kind of gave it 20 video topics for a YouTube channel. And so these are the 20 topics, right? Intermittent fasting, Ozempic, AI in medicine. Will your doctor be a robot? Oh, sounds concerning. Exercise for longevity, sleep your way to 100, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it goes on and on. And then I said, research the top 15 of these, provide an engaging opening hook. Like, why do you want to listen to this video? Deliver peer-reviewed research, PubMed, JAMA, New England Journal, listed experts like Peter Attia, David Sinclair, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Huberman, include a clear structure, be written to a broad audience. I want everybody to be able to understand this. And generate 15 fully written YouTube scripts. So it came back, asked me some questions. I answered those and it went off and let's see, worked for 6 minutes. Not a very hard question, obviously. I've heard of deep research going off and working for up to 30 minutes. So the first script it gave me is the longevity diet, eating for a longer life. So let's go through here and see if it got some good stuff for us. I've definitely researched a lot on nutrition and health span and lifespan. I'm not going to say I'm the world's expert. I have strong opinions, but I'm not going to say that those opinions are always 100% right. In fact, if anybody said that, I would not trust that person. But let's just jump in here. So, of course, has the hook for me. What if the secret to a longer life isn't a new drug, but what's on your dinner plate? Today, we're diving into the longevity diet. So there's our hook. You know, is ancient wisdom from let food be thy medicine, ancient wisdom from Hippocrates. So let's jump in and see what we learn. It says, stick around for surprising facts like how certain diet patterns cut the risk of early death by about 20%. And I mean, that is interesting. Like, how can we cut your risk of early death by 20%? And can we do that through food? So it jumps in here, talks about this study, 119,000 people from Harvard. Let's click on the link. Let me share this tab. Well, let me Stop sharing that tab. Share this. I don't know. It's not letting me share it. But you're seeing the old tab. But anyways, this is a American Medical Association article. Talks about how they track diet for 30 years. And this is an article, not a paper. It talks about 4 different ways that they looked at healthy eating. One is called the Healthy Eating Index 2015. The other is the Alternate Mediterranean Diet. Another is Healthful Plant-Based Diet Index. And another is Alternate Healthy Eating Index. So obviously all ways that they can kind of score how healthy is your diet. And it says that across the board, all healthy eating patterns were associated with a 20% reduction in total mortality. So if you scored a certain amount in any of those patterns, you could be healthy. It says there's no magic bullet. You just have to eat lower amounts of ultra-processed food and mostly minimally processed food. So foods that look like they came from the earth or from the animal, which I think makes a lot of sense. Hot dogs, never seen an animal with a hot dog leg, right? But I have seen chicken legs. So I think that's pretty good takeaway for the first article. And again, article, not a research study. There is a research study here on preventing cardiovascular disease with the Mediterranean diet. This is actually pretty well known and older study, so 2013. So I feel pretty good about that. Next is plant-focused blue zone diets. Ever wonder what the oldest people in the world eat? Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy. Also, we know in California, there's also a blue zone. They rely on beans, veggies, fruits, whole grains, and meat eaten only sparingly, a few times a month. So there is this paper on the blue zones. That's pretty interesting. And then let's see, that is still the blue zones paper right there. So takeaways, eat mostly plants and not too much. I believe that is from the book, The Omnivore's Dilemma. Eat mostly plants and not too much. I believe he says that as well. Timing matters, fasting benefits. So this is actually kind of interesting because fasting, has had different there's been different evidence on fasting. Everybody was super up on that intermittent fasting alone could maybe help you lose weight. But the studies on intermittent fasting, when they are eucaloric, meaning the calories are kept the same, whether you eat in an 8-hour period or a 12-hour period, there is no weight loss advantage to only eating in even a 6-hour period. And so, yeah, but it calls out that there is this process called autophagy, which is cellular recycling, that many people believe goes up when you're fasting. And why it works, let's see, we've got a paper here. Oh, that's a different paper. So let's go back up here to the Hopkins Medicine paper about intermittent fasting. This says, medicine says studies have shown that this switch, which is the autophagy switch, improves blood sugar regulation, increases resistance to stress, suppresses inflammation. Very interesting. Okay, let's jump back over here. So eating lots of plant foods gives your body tons of vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals like antioxidants. And this is where sulforaphane is talked about, activating NRF2, an anti-aging pathway in cells. Omega-3 fats from fish or flaxseed reduce inflammation. And quotes Dr. Walter Longo, who is a very interesting guy. I believe he's out in California. He came up with the fast mimicking diet. So if you don't want to fast, you just have to eat a low calorie diet. I believe it's like 800 calories up to about 1100 calories during the time of eating fast mimicking diet. And you can have the same kind of benefits as a full fast. And many people believe that you don't get true autophagy benefits until about 2 to 3 days of fasting. So the idea that you would get autophagy benefits from intermittent fasting, that is a little bit more suspect. So practical takeaways from my video: pile on the plants, aim to fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables, choose healthy proteins, beans, lentils, tofu, fish. I pretty much like any meat protein as long as it looks like meat. Opt for good fats, olive oil, obviously avocados. Cut back on processed foods and sugar. Yes, please. Don't overeat. Practice hari hachibu. The Okinawan phrase means eat until 80% full. That is not a bad way to do it. Stay hydrated and mindful. Consistency over perfection. And then the question that deep research gives us, what's one food you would add or drop to make your diet more longevity friendly? So anything you'd add, would you add avocados or fruits and vegetables? I'll just give my opinion. I'm going to stop sharing here and give my opinion. This is all very interesting. I think deep research did a decent job. Not as many articles. I mean, more articles than papers. And I really like to have papers to go see the studies and see if they're powered correctly. Are they prospective, retrospective, epidemiologic? But I would say my main takeaways for nutrition, yes, eat fruits and vegetables. And this is really why I love the 800-gram challenge. So try to eat 800 grams of fruits, vegetables, and beans in a day. And then the next thing you worry about is eating enough protein for building muscle. And that's usually going to be about 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. So for somebody who weighs 200 pounds like myself, that's 140 grams of protein. Now, you can go up on protein if you're really trying to maximize your bodybuilding capabilities. But for most of us, 0.7 is plenty. So if you do those two things, you kind of you check all the marks for kind of the healthy eating index, the Mediterranean diet. I guess maybe if your protein is just coming from protein bars and protein shakes, you're not really doing it. But I would say eat real food and not too much. And that is the best longevity diet. And use the 800-gram challenge as a trick for getting you to eat enough. The studies show that those who ate 800 grams of fruits, vegetables, and beans live the longest. You get a lot of benefit if you can just get to 500 grams and then get enough protein. And don't eat too many ultra-processed foods. So great little deep research paper. Probably a little bit of overkill on intermittent fasting for my take of things. But I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments below. And of course, subscribe and like. Take care.